The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tucson, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33062. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, passenger and driver side, you'll find dual air horns. Just inside of that location, you'll find your mechanical siren and PA speaker systems, and also siren. Located in the bumper extension, you'll find a tubbed storage location for your front bumper load. You'll also find on the driver's side an 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Moving up onto the body, you'll find turn indicators located on the outer edge of the body. Just inside, you'll find your headlight cluster housing the low and high beam. Moving up from that location, you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. Directly behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find your release mechanism for your hood. And as we move up onto the one-piece single windshield is where you'll find your 3 windshield wipers. On the outer edges, you'll find your mirrors, which house the convex and flat portion of the mirror. Moving upward from that location, you'll find at the brow of the vehicle 5 running lights. Located directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the roof of the vehicle, you'll find emergency warning lights on the right and left side. Just above that, you'll also find a opticom light. Directly over the emergency lights is where you'll find your go light on the passenger side and driver side of the vehicle. Here's some close-ups of those items that we just talked about. This is your tubbed storage location in the bumper extension area. Your 1.5-inch swivel discharge. This is the location for your release mechanism for the hood system. As we move to the outer edge, this is the turn indicator and headlight cluster. Let's move up onto the top of the vehicle to the aerial device itself. We have 2 forward-facing tip lights. Moving downward, a release for allowing you to release the waterway to a lower position, which we'll talk about that in a moment. This is the release on the right-hand side of the ladder of your 107 foot. Also, you'll find ladder controls just inside. We'll go over these in a little bit more clarity as we move through this presentation. You also have an audible speaker at the very top section. Let's take a look at the side of the vehicle where you find your grab handles for opening the latch. It is a keyed latch, and also grab handles are located at all points of entry for personnel. You do have 3 emergency lights on the cab section, side facing. You'll also find on the driver's side this area, and we're going to focus in on these components. First, you'll find a side facing camera. You also have a battery voltage indicator. Just beneath that, your shore power auto eject. Let's move now to the back section of the cab area, where you'll find at the very top of the cab an LED light regarding the water tank level indicator. Just to the rear of that in the body area, you'll find a long tool storage or backboard storage location. And then just beneath that, you'll find additional storage within the cab area. Here are some close-ups of those items that we just talked about. Let's now move to the actual pump area. First, let's start on the left-hand side of the image. At the very top is where you'll find your 3 crosslays, color-coded and also clearly identified. There is, because of those crosslays, a warning sticker here regarding entanglement. As we move to the right, we're going to start in this section. This is going to be your intake relief valve. You can see there are instructions on the plate of the valve itself. As we move to the right in the gray area, you'll find your master intake.
Further to the right, you'll find your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. And moving further to the right, you'll find your pump discharge. These are the two master gauges for your apparatus. Moving further to the right in this image, we'll find your pump boss. This is your pressure throttle governor. In the upper left, if illuminated, it would be yellow, a check engine light. Located in the center, you'll find a digital readout regarding the RPMs. To the right, if illuminated, it would be in red, is a stop engine. Moving down, you'll find the blue menu button, which allows you to scroll through the various menus. Located within the center, you'll find engine diagnostic information. Further to the right, you'll find in red a audible silence button. Moving down to the two yellow buttons, you'll find the pressure or throttle mode. You'll also find information located within the digital readout area. Further to the right, you'll find a throttle ready, which will be a green indicator. And then just beneath that, you'll find a preset button. If you have programmed presets into your system, this is how you'll access those presets. Down at the very bottom, you'll find your throttle and also a push to engage the idle. In the upper right-hand section, you're going to find this warning label, do not open throttle unless light is on. It's pertaining to the top light. You also have an audible alarm here. The outer edge of the bezel does allow you to adjust the volume. Just beneath that, you'll find a green indicator indicating that your pump is engaged. Further to the right, we're going to find your engine cooler. And we also have a maximum speed of 700 RPMs for your generator operations. Moving down, you'll find the water tank level indicator. And then moving further to the right, you're going to find a warning label here regarding not riding on the side of the apparatus while it is in motion. Further down, you'll find the pump primer. There's also instructions just beneath that you should be at least 1,000 RPMs prior to engaging the primer. Just beneath that, you'll find the recirculating line tank fill, and below that, you'll find the tank to pump. You'll also find an air horn switch located here. It is the red switch located in the center. As we move further down, you'll find this warning label regarding pressurized hazard. Be cautious while removing caps that may be under pressure. To the right, you have a placard regarding your generator operational instructions. And then to the left of this image, you'll find a electronic passenger inlet. And just beneath that, you'll find the Pierce placard, which we'll go over next. This is your Pierce maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left are the associated GPMs while at test pressure, and to the right are the RPMs while at test pressure. You'll also find the job number located in the upper left-hand corner. As we move through a couple more items within this area, I would like to point out this warning label regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies or types. You'll also find a warning label here that only trained personnel should operate this equipment only after they've received proper training. This is your Watrez pump. It is a 1500 GPM pump. That is the placard regarding the pump itself. This is a danger indicator regarding electrocution. You'll also find to the right-hand side your pump drain, and then just beneath that the manual pump shift. Let's now move to the left where you'll find this warning label regarding only trained personnel should operate this equipment and only after they've received proper training. Just beneath that is the 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Once again, at the very top, this is the foam area for foam B and foam A. You'll find the foam failure hazard. We're up into the dunnage area now where you'll find your booster line. This is the manual rewind at the very top, and then also the tension on the right-hand side. Down at the very bottom, you're going to find a push for your real rewind. Let's take a look at the dunnage area just to the rear of this section. This is where you're going to find the foam fill for your tank for A foam. It also has that warning label regarding foam hazards and failure. Moving to the center, you'll find your water fill location. We're now into the hose area where you would find this warning label regarding the possibility of crush if that area is in movement, if someone is occupying that space. In the upper section here of this compartment, this is the first compartment after the pump panel, we'll find your generator module. Just beneath that, when plugged into shore power, this will activate, which is your battery charging system. Let's move to the very top. This is the G1, which stands for generated power. This is the breaker box pertaining it. I'd also like to point out, these are your outriggers. There is the possibility of crush, that's why there's a warning label here, and then also a danger regarding electrocution hazard. That's why those warning labels are posted there. Down the lower section of this compartment, you'll find two pan doors. These house first on the left-hand side of the wheel. You'll find your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. It is the blue cap. And to the right in silver, your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. Moving upward from that location, you'll find bottle storage locations. There are two bottle storage locations here and also a 20 amp outlet. Moving to the rear section of the rear wheel, you'll find additional two locations for bottle storage. As we move to the very rear of the apparatus, in between the drop-down ladder is where you'll find an inclinometer. You're also going to find just in front of that inclinometer a visual sight indicator regarding hydraulic oil. Located just beneath that, you're going to find this sensor. This is regarding your ladder has been stowed properly for movement. In between that, you'll find this access location for modules. As we move to the rear section, this is the ladder in the downward position. Moving to the rear of the apparatus, we'll identify some of the items within this area. Let's go ahead and start with the very bottom, these warning labels. Regarding crush and fall injury, there is also a warning label regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing a cap under pressure. And then also at the very top section, we'll find once again a warning not to ride on the rear of the apparatus. You also have pull indicators here regarding that only direct pull should be utilized when using these for anchors. And then as we move to the very, very far right, you'll find the danger regarding electrocution. Now that we've covered some of those warning labels in this area, let's go and identify a few of the items within the rear section of your apparatus. Let's first start on the outer edges with your marker indicator lights. There are two there on right and left side. Moving up from that location, you'll find the brake, turn, and reverse lights. There are also 3 emergency lights on the left and 3 emergency lights on the right side of the rear section. Located on the driver's side, you'll find a rear scene light. There are also controls for those on the left. The American flag Eagle Pierce logo is your large diameter intake for your aerial device. And at the very top, you'll find your traffic advisor, and above that, your backup camera. Moving now to the very center, you'll see the Pierce logo. As we drop this compartment down, we'll talk about the components behind this area. There are also 2 outer edges, which is going to be your outrigger control modules. And then just above that, you'll find ladder storage for all of your ground ladders. Let's move up to the top of the pedestal area. First, this audible alarm on the left-hand side. It does have an outer bezel which can adjust the volume. Further to the right, we're going to find some warning labels here. And then just beneath that, we're going to find a pan door, which is the access point for maintenance for your calibrations. Up at the very top is where you'll find an audible speaker. Down in the lower section, not within this image, is an orange foot pedal, and we'll talk about that next. This is the safety release mechanism for allowing you to access the controls of the aerial device. As we move through some of the close-ups, this is the pan door, which allows access to the calibration and aerial manual control. As we move to the step or riser to gain access on top, this is a storage location. Moving around to the side of the ladder control is where you'll find the pedestal. We'll go over the next set of items within the pedestal. First, starting in the upper left-hand corner, we have an emergency stop button. Moving downward, you'll find the tip lights, which are the lights located at the very tip of the ladder. Just beneath that tip light control, you'll find the tracking lights, which are at the base of the aerial device. And then you also have an aerial speed for normal or fast. Moving back up to the very top on the right side, you'll find the rung lights and then also an indicator here that your aerial is not bedded. Moving down, you have a remote for aerial control activation. This gives remote control to the very tip. And then just beneath that, you'll find the emergency hydraulic power. Further to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. This is the display. Tremendous amount of information here available at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual for more information on this. Just beneath that, you'll find nozzle control on the left and also your stowed or deployed indication for your ladder. And then further to the right, you'll find ladder controls for extend, retract, right and left, and lower and raise. On the lid of the actual pedestal is where you'll find the waterway dry information and also waterway charged. You'll also find a placard here regarding nozzle positions, and then also an asterisk area down at the very bottom for special instructions. The intercom system does have a power button down at the very bottom. Moving up from that location, the larger button is going to be your volume control. And then further to the right, you'll find a toggle switch for listen and talk. To engage the talk position, push down the button. You'll also find just next to the pedestal the inclinometer from 0 to -10 and from 0 to 80 degrees. Located on the side of the ladders, you'll find storage locations. There are some warning labels here regarding the possibility of falling objects while this is in the air. Just a quick view of the tip section here. Let's go over some of the functions here. Starting on the left-hand side, first, this is the red stop button. This is your emergency stop. Moving down from that location, you'll find aerial controls. And then just beneath that, you'll find some warning here regarding tip over and structural failures, in addition with operator information and also pinch hazard information. Let's go ahead and move now to the center section of the aerial ladder. On the right-hand side in the center is where you'll find your nozzle controls. Located in the center, which we previously mentioned, this is the handle on the outer edge. This allows you to release the waterway to a lower position. This should be accomplished while the ladder is bedded. Since we're at the top of the ladder section here, looking over the side, we can identify a few items within this area. First, we're on the cab area. Just below the ladder, you'll find emergency warning lights. You'll also find your go light. This is going to be the left-hand side of the vehicle, which is the driver's side, and then also your opticom located in the front. As we move to the passenger side, same items, emergency warning lights, and also your go light. I would like to point out a warning sticker regarding the very back section. This is not a walking surface. Let's go ahead and move from the dunnage area here. This is your foam system and also water tank. As we move to the side of the ladder, you'll find location for additional storage of ladders. And as we move to the side compartments, we'll find this pull-out shelf. This is a 500-pound capacity shelf. There are release mechanisms on the right and left-hand side to gain access or pull this shelf outward. As we move just over the rear wheel, you're going to find tool storage location. The D handles allow you to release the mechanism to allow it to pull outward. There is a lock on the left and right-hand side of the hinged area. Two SCBA bottle storage locations also are located on this side, in front of and in rear of the rear axle. This is going to be the side-facing camera regarding the stabilizer location to have a visual where your stabilizer will be placed. Tucson Fire Class 1 ISO. As we move to the side of the apparatus stabilizer area, you'll find once again a crush indicator and also a danger indicator regarding electrocution. Down in the lower section, you'll find this danger warning label regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures, and be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. We're now to the midsection of your apparatus. Let's identify a few items within this area. First, starting on the left, the red is your air horn switch. To the right is the 200-foot 20-amp reel rewind. This is the electrical cord. And then just beneath that, you'll find the passenger side scene lights. Because we have an electronic valve located on this side, there is an override, and that's what this mechanism is for. Let's look just inside to the left of the 2.5 inch. In the pan door, you'll find the foam A and also foam B drains. As we look to the far left, you'll find your large diameter pump intake, and to the right, you'll find the large diameter discharge on the passenger side in green. There's also a 2.5 inch discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find a 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. Just beneath that, or just to the right and left of that, is where you'll find all your associated discharge drains. They're color-coded and also labeled. As we move to the side area, you'll also find a storage location for hose and also 2 fold-down steps for gaining access aloft. At the very top, this is the location for your cord reel. Let's move inside the cab now. At all points of entry for personnel, you'll find these warning labels attached to the door panels. There are also assist firefighting straps to get in and out of the cab in red, located on each hinged side of the door. Just a quick view inside the cab. We'll go through some of the items within visual. Overhead, you can see your headset system in addition with your SCBA bottle storage locations within your seats. There is netting here regarding resources within inside your cab, and also straps on the very top section. I would like to point out the lower section of this image. This is where your oil for daily checks and transmission for daily checks is located. Let's go ahead and move in between the seats where you'll find your Motorola system. This is the module for your radio system, and also your Federal. This is for your siren and PA system. Let's go ahead and go directly behind the driver's seat is where you'll find this audible speaker. There is volume control located on the speaker face. Quick view from the rear section looking forward. Let's go ahead and now move to the officer's area, a point of entry. So we have these warning labels regarding firefighter safety and also seatbelt information on the seat itself. As we move to the front section of the dash area, this vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and that's what the warning labels are for in this area. Please be cautious when mounting any equipment within this vicinity. Mechanical siren and air horn siren on the left-hand side of the officer's area, in addition with a siren brake and 12-volt USB access. This is also the location of your MDT switch. Let's go ahead and move now to the driver's section. We'll start with the door moving into the driver's area. First, on the panel itself, on the left side, you'll find once again those warning labels for firefighter safety, in addition with seatbelt information and also warning labels. Just at about the right ankle, you'll find this yellow placard of the operator. This is the manufactured for your department, City of Tucson, Arizona. It has the gross vehicle weight rating, job number, VIN number, and also all of the fluid capacities for the components and also fluid types. Let's move down to about the left foot of the operator. This is a foot pedal for the air horn. Moving up from this location, you'll find this set of modules and switches. This is going to be the tech module. Just beneath it, you'll find the diagnostic ports for your ABS, transmission, and also engine. And to the right, you'll find a diagnostic port for your display. Beneath that, you'll find ABS and also regen switches just beneath that. Above, you'll find the quarter-turn battery switch. This is your master switch. At the very top of the left of the dash is where you'll find your hazards, ignition, and start switch. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find an EM switch, which stands for Emergency Master. You'll also find your parking lights and headlights. And then just inside of that, you'll find the panel light, which allows you to brighten or dim the lights within the panel. We'll go ahead and move now to the steering wheel. Located within the steering wheel is an SRS, which is the supplemental restraint system, your airbag. As we move to the right, just a general view here of the operator's controls. First, starting with the right-hand side, this is the pull to apply your system parking brake, push to release. To the right of that, you'll find your Pierce command zone. And then further to the right, you'll find the Allison transmission pad with an indication to pump in drive. As we move further to the right in this area, you'll find the aerial master, aerial PTO, generator PTO, stabilizer camera, and load manager. There's also a future switch in that same area. Just beneath that, you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, front wheel lock, and mirror heat. To the right, you'll find electronic siren, perimeter lights, an indicator that your aerial is not bedded, and also a siren brake for your mechanical siren. Down in the next section, you're going to find the pump shift from road to pump instructions on the left and from pump to road with instructions on the right. For pump operations, you'll need 2 green indicators prior to exiting the cab. Above that, you'll find your go light. Directly in the center, you'll find climate control for heat and air conditioning and defrost. Over the operator's head, you'll find this placard, height 11 feet 8.25 inches, your length 39 feet 0.75 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 57,500 pounds. Let's move further to the right of the placard, where you'll find a set of switches housing the emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. As we move further to the right, there is an additional set of switches which houses your high beam flash, your opticom, front flood, driver side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. When these switches have been engaged, the green indicator light will illuminate. Let's move to the right of this image. We'll find the direction of your traffic advisor. You also have high, off, and low settings. Moving to the right, you'll find your federal control module. And also in the center, I'd like to point out this red indicator, if illuminating, indicating that you have a compartment or door open. You'll also find just to the rear of that the Firecom wireless headset system module. To the right, you'll find your unit radio, which is a Motorola. Moving further to the right, you'll find your Firecom headset module. And then further to the right, the Go Light control for the officer side. Here's a close-up of the Firecom system. And to the left, your Motorola unit system radio. And then all the way to the center section, this is your siren and PA speaker system. Congratulations, Tucson, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33062. If you have any questions about your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.